Hello, my name is Angelica Kinde, and this is my ID card. And today I will be talking about plagiarism and the types of plagiarism and the characteristics. So, what's plagiarism? Plagiarism is basically when we take or use other people's words, works, or ideas and we present them as our own. Sometimes it can be intentionally, but there are occasions in which it happens unintentionally when it just slips. We don't we we don't do it with a bad intention. It just happens. We just forget. We just get confused about the ideas. Why is it important to know about plagiarism? It's important to know what it is because if we don't know about it, we might find ourselves being unethical because once we take other authors' words and we present them as our own, that's unethical because we're not doing something right and we are not being true um, to ourselves and to the rest of people that maybe are going to read our work. And there are different types of plagiarisms, and we need to be aware of the characteristics in order to prevent committing it and in order to prevent uh, plagiarism. So we have the types of plagiarism. We have copy-paste information without knowledge. This happens when the information is copied from a source without giving credit to the author. For example, we are doing a research and we just state the idea, or we maybe paraphrase, we just copy and paste without like paraphrasing or doing it with our words. And at the end, we don't put the author's name, which means that if someone reads our work, is going to think that this is actually ours, that we work hard for this, and it can come off as an opinion when and that's not the case. This is an example. For example, this is the source text, and then as we can see, for example, this is from some author's paper, and then the paraphrase one. This is what we should do. This is what we should do. If we just do it this, if we do this, just the source text in our work, that's not right. We need to paraphrase and put always the author's name. Then we have self-plagiarism. This happens when an author reuses part of an assignment or any type of research or work without taking attribution or taking credit and putting where the information is from. And this author forgets about taking credit from his own work. For example, let's think about Pablo. Pablo's an author. He's doing research about education in Ecuador. Okay, he's done with his paper, and then he starts another one about education in South America. Then he's in this paper, he's talking about each country in South America. And when it comes to Ecuador, he reuses part of this previous work. And in this new paper, he doesn't claim his work. He doesn't take any credit. He doesn't state where this information came from. Then we have collusion. This happens when there is an activity or an assignment that has been given to work on individually to the students. And at the end, when this assignment is presented, more than one student presents the same work. For example, I give these students to work about in this assignment about literature, and then I see these 2 or 3 assignments that contain the same ideas, are developed in the same way, They are following the same structure, the ideas are the same, sometimes it's the same words, word by word, and then it's just the opinion that has changed, or maybe at the end you can see that this assignment wasn't doing individually because some other assignments have the same words. And then we have cloning. It refers to the word by word copy of another person's work, and the only thing that changes is the author's name. This can see a lot in high schools when it comes to investigations, to research that students are given. Sometimes they just go copy and paste. And when you see the authors, you see their own names. But if you check in any program to see how much of this work has been plagiarized, you see that everything has been copied word by word, and then it doesn't match the name that's put into this assignment to the real author's name. And then we have mosaic. It happens when the sentences have been taken from another source and is copied word by word without giving credits to the author. And the thing that only changes is that every sentence, every idea is just joined by linking words, which means that the only word that the student has done is just look for linking words. For example, we have here an example. We have this word also. This is the plagiarized word, and this is the original version. In the original version, you can see the word also. So this is the word that has been used to join the different ideas that have been taken from to the previous words. You can see it has the same sentence structures. It's just some words that have been changed, and the rest is the same. Then we have remix. In this case, the information is copy pasted word by word in some parts, and then it's paraphrased. And after this, it also contains opinions or ideas of the author, which means that sometimes we can find in some paragraphs copy-pasted information, and then you can see that the next part has been paraphrased, but it doesn't contain the citation in the text. It doesn't have the author's name, and at the end you can see that what you're reading is not actually what information that has been verified. It's just the author's opinion, sometimes it's the author's points of view, the author ideas that sometimes it doesn't make sense, it doesn't have a contrast, it's not following the same pattern. For example, in the first two parts, it can be an agreement to some idea, and then it comes the author's opinions, and it's just the opposite, and it's just, as the word says, it's a mix of everything, and this is also plagiarism, which I didn't know that this was also plagiarism. Then we have find and replace. It makes reference to copy-pasted information. In this case, some words or phrases have been replaced, as the name says, by synonyms. All that the students do in this case, or the researcher do, is just copy and paste the information, but to not make it obvious that they have been actually working this paper. They just look for some synonyms to some phrases to make it look different. And that's it. Just look for synonyms and to make this text have the same meaning. This is an example. As you can see, this is the original text. And then here in the other one, what's in pink is the same words as the original, and what's not in pink is what has been changed, which means synonyms. The last one, we have verbatim. It happens when there's a transcript of an audio or movie, and even the sounds like are used. For example, we have here, okay, did you, well, did you have anything to drink before the accident happened? And no, I don't drink or anything up. As you can see, we have words that, well, and that's not right. And then we have the clean copy, which means that we just erase those words and we have just a complete sentence, which we have complete sentences. For example, did you have anything to drink before the accident happened? We don't have pauses. We don't have words that express doubting or just words that express that we're thinking. No, I don't drink or anything ever. We don't have words like sounds like oh, or words like well. And then we have here, this is my my opinion about the topic, how to prevent plagiarism. To prevent plagiarism, we can start like doing the very minimum, which is using our own words and understanding about a certain topic. For example, if we read something and you want to transmit the author's ideas, okay, we just paraphrase and use our own words, which also mean that we have understood the idea and we can paraphrase it. Instead of just copying another person's work, we could paraphrase and use our own words to describe their ideas. We should always have in mind that we need to use references and give the author its credits. That's okay, that's true. Because at the moment that we don't do that, we are claiming those words our own. We are making people think that these words came from our research, which it's not the case. If we are not sure about the source, it's better not to use it because sometimes if we don't use the source, we don't use the author, we are doing the same. We are claiming the words as ours. And if we have the chance, we can always try to use any website or program to check plagiarism, to check how much of the work has been plagiarized, where can we do changes to be better. And lastly, as a student, we should always keep track of the information and the corresponding source. As a university student, when we have to write essays about certain topics, I look for different sources. Sometimes it's a lot. For example, like 5, 6 sources. Sometimes it gets mixed up, and we get confused. So it's better if we have to change to write it down. For example, where we got central information, the author's name, like everything. So we don't uh, plagiarize or work unintentionally, because if this happens, it wouldn't be intentionally. It will be just something that just slipped our mind. So that's my contribution to the topic. Thank you so much.